Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the second intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 2, and today inshallah we will discuss favorite pastimes, listen and discuss, and pair work. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. Our objectives in today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson, you will be able to, number one, name the hobbies they see, and also to ask questions about teens' pastimes. So, here our objectives today is to try to know the hobbies that we usually see, and also we usually do in our pastimes, and also to ask questions about teens' pastimes. The things that people or teenagers usually do to pass their time, especially for the different activities they do. So, I would like you please to open your books on page 26. I would like you please to open your books on page 26. Now, on page 26, listen and discuss. So here we have in our lesson, we have one important question to answer, which is, which of the following pastimes are popular in your country? So what we're going to read now, we're going to read about different pastimes, different activities that teens usually do. And when we read these pastimes or when we read these activities, we want to decide which of them are popular in our country or in your country. Which of these activities are popular or these activities the teens usually do in your country? So the title of this lesson is Young People's Leisure Preferences. So the things that young people prefer to pass their time. So here we're going to read different types of these preferences or different types of these activities. So, what do youth usually do in their free time? Before we read or before we continue reading, if I asked you this question, what do youth usually do in their free time? Can you think of activities that people usually do in their free time? Just think of one example or two about the pastimes or the things that youth or people at your age usually do to pass their time. I myself can think of playing football, for example, or trying to exercise, or walking, or going to the park. So there are different activities I can think of. And I am sure you can think of these activities as well. So, if you thought about one or two of these activities, keep them in your mind and let's read the activities we have in our lesson today and then we can compare them together. So, the first activity we have or the first pastime we have is they hang out with friends. They just meet and talk. So the first activity or the youth people usually do or the first pastime is that they hang out. They go out together, and what do they do when they go out together? They usually just meet and talk. Just sit with each other and talk, talking about different things, talking about the weather, talking about their studies, talking about their family. So this is the first pastime or the first activity that teens or youth usually do. Now let's read the other activity. The other activity is they exercise. They play sports or work out. So the other activity that youth usually do or teens usually do is that they exercise. They can either exercise by themselves by walking or jogging or running in the park, or they usually go to a gym to work out, to try to lift weight and try different machines. So this is the second activity or the second pastime that usually teens or youth do. So to exercise, to play sports in the park or even in your yard at home or even in public places, to play different types of sports like volleyball, like football, and also like basketball, or to go to the gym and work out. Now the third activity or the third pastime is they play video games or board games. So this is the third activity or the third pastime teens usually do, which is playing video games or playing board games. And these type of games, you can play them with your friends, your family members, just for entertainment and also to pass the time. Not only video games, but also sometimes we play cards as a board game. It will help. Usually teens prefer it to pass their time. So this is the third types of pastimes and or the third activities that teens or youth usually do. And then number 4, they eat in food courts or restaurants. So we said that the pastimes is they hang out, they go out together, and they exercise, they go to in public places or the gym to play different sports or to work out. And then we said to stay at home and to play video games or board games. And this is the fourth one, which is to go out and eat in restaurants, different restaurants, or to go to the mall or the shopping mall and eat in food courts. So this is also an example or an example of an activity that usually teens or youth do to pass their time. So all of these activities or all of these pastimes, can you think of some of them that you usually do? And what about the list you made before we start reading these activities or pastimes? Now let me add you one more activity for the activities we have just mentioned. Also, youth or teens usually travel and meet people. So one of the activities or one of the pastimes that people or teens or youth usually do is to travel to meet new people, to go to different places and to go around the world, different countries, and to meet people, to learn about their culture and also to learn about their country as well. Also, other activity that usually teens or youth do, which is they have a hobby. For example, they cook, paint, read, or make things. So all of us, all of the all people around the world, they do have a hobby. They do have something they like to do in their free time. For example, there are people who would like to or they love to cook when they have free time, to try out different recipes and to try to taste different food. And also there are people who would like to paint in their free time, to try to think of a picture of anything and try to paint them and to enjoy the art of painting. Also there are people who would like to read novels, stories that will broaden their imagination when they do read. And also there are people, their hobby is to try to make things. They try to make things, they try to repair them sometimes, Do they try to fix them sometimes? So it is a hobby. So all of these activities, to exercise, to travel, and also to make to practice a hobby, and also to try to go hang out or eat in food courts. All of these activities, did you think, or did you think of some of them before we read them? Also, another question for you. Can you think or can you decide what is the hobby out of these four things? What is a hobby, or what is the things that you prefer the most when you have a free time? So just think of them. It will help you to broaden your knowledge about how to benefit from your free time. This will lead us to a study, as we can see here. It says here, read the chart of what Saudi youth do online. Do you use the internet for the same things? And what else do you use it for? So here we have a studies, or the result of study in this chart that shows us what Saudi youth do online. And when we read these things, think of this question. Do you use the internet for the same things that we're about to read? Do you use them for the same thing or for something else? And also, what are this something else that you use the internet for? So this chart is called What Saudi Youth Do Online. The percentage of young Saudi internet users, usually from age 15 to age 34. So now let's read the things that usually Saudi youth do online and see the percentage of each of them. The first one is they use the internet to participate in social networks or professional networks through social media. So Saudi youth people participate in social media and social platform. The percentage of people who do that is 94.5%. 94.5%. And the other thing is they use the internet to play or to download games, download films, pictures, or videos. So the percentage of the Saudi youth who do this activity is 90.7%. Number 3. Download software and apps. They use the internet to download software and apps. And the percentage of Saudi youth who do this is 84%. Number 4. They use the internet to make telephone calls via the internet. And the percentage of Saudi youth who do this is 57.7%. And the last thing, they use the internet to send and receive emails, and the percentage of Saudi youth who do this is 57.1%. So just think of all of these things: to participate in social media, to download the games, download softwares, make telephones, and send and receive emails. Do you use the internet for the same purposes, or do you use it for something else? And when you think of something else, you can do or ask the question or do a survey about people around you and ask them the same thing if they do have something else or other uses for the internet other than these 5 things. So now I would like you please to turn to page 27. I'd like you please to turn to page 27. Now 27, as you can see on the top of this page, you will see 2 students asking each other. So let's try to read what they asked each other about. So the first person here, Josh, asked his friend, "How often do you play basketball, Ali?" How often do you play basketball, Ali? And Ali said, "I usually practice 3 times a week. It's my favorite thing to do in my free time. So now we learned that the favorite thing that Ali do in his free time is to play basketball. Now Ali went and asked Josh again, "What's your favorite pastime, Josh?" Let's read the answer of Josh. Josh said, "I like to play hockey. I know how to ice skate very well. I usually go to the rink on weekends." So Josh said that you do like basketball, I do like playing hockey, because I know how to ice skate and also I know how to move around the rink. So what about you? What is your favorite pastime that you usually do in your free time? Just think of it and think whether if it's similar to Josh and Ali. Now, read the chart of what US teens usually do online and compare it to the one about the Saudi internet users on page 26. What are the similarities and what are the differences? So now we're going to read another chart, but this time for US teens. And we're going to compare it with the chart about Saudi teens and to find out what are the similarities, the things that are the same, and also what are the differences. So, what US teens do online, number one, they send and receive emails, and the percentage of teens who do this is 89%, and play online games, and the percentage of people do this is 81%, and get news or information about current events, the percentage of people usually do this is 76%, and to buy things online such as books, clothing, or gadgets is 43%, and to look for information on health, diets, or physical fitness is 31%. So these are the things that usually US teens do online. So try to compare it with the Saudi teens, the things they do online, and try to find out what are the similarities, the things that are the same, and also what are the differences. For your information, teens, when we say teens, it means teenagers, people who are between 13 and 19. And young people and youth refer to much wider age ranges, which are often different depending on the country or culture. This is very important information that you keep in mind when we talk about teens. Now, quick check. The first one of vocabulary, I would like you to take the activities that you often do and compare it with your partner or your classmate. So remember all of these activities we did talk about to do in your pastime, to just tick and put this mark when you if you do the same of these activities. Now, comprehension questions. Let's read and answer yes or no. Number one, Ali often works out. So what do you think? Do Ali often works out? The answer is yes, he likes to work out and also to practice basketball. Number two, Josh knows how to ice skate. The answer is yes, Josh did say that he likes to play hockey and know how to ice skate. Number three, teens seldom buy things online. The answer is no. According to the US chart, they do buy online and use the internet for this thing. Number four, most teens are not interested in reading about current events. The answer is no, they are interested in reading the current events, as we have seen in the US teen chart. Now, the last thing we have is pair work, to try to ask and answer about teens' pastimes. So just think of these activities we have seen in the chart about US teens or Saudi teens chart, and think of these activities and ask your partner. For example, do most teens send emails? Or do most teens read information about the current events? So you can have questions like this, or how often do teens eat out? Ask your partner about these questions when you and you can have or talk about some of the activities from the chart. And B, to ask and answer about yourself. What do you do in your free time? This is a very important question for you to answer. What do you usually like to do in your free time? And also, how often do you cook? How often do you paint? How often do you exercise? So just think of the different hobbies we did talk about and think of this answer. How often do you do each of them? This will help you to have a clear idea about your pastimes and also your lifestyle. And now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.